A hearty welcome to one and all present here. This is day 2 of the Placement Bootcamp for the Analytics profile. I am Ayush and I'll be hosting today's event along with my co-host Mrinalini. On behalf of Communiqué, IIT Kharagpur, we welcome you all to our panel discussion to get an insight on how to prepare for a data analytics profile. I assure you that this event shall be very insightful and informative for everyone present here.
We would now like to introduce today's panelists to all of you. First of all, we have Mr. Adarsh Goyal, who has bagged the placement at American Express. Adarsh, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone. My name is Adarsh Goyal. I was a student. I was a student of 5-year integrated MSc Department of Chemistry. I got placed in American Express in last year placements, and prior to that, I had a couple of product internships. I didn't have any sort of analytical background. Yeah, and that's about me.
Thank you, Adarsh. Next, we have Mr. Nachiketa Rajhans, who has secured a placement at Sprinkler. Nachiketa, I request you to please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hey, hello everyone. So Nachiketa this side. I'm currently designated as a product analyst at Sprinkler. And regarding my profile, my tips would be more focused on product analysis. Thank you.
Thank you, Nachiketa. And finally, we have Mr. Akshat Jain, who has bagged a placement at MasterCard. Akshat, would you like to give our audience a brief intro of yourself?
Yeah, sure. So, hi guys, I'm Akshat. I was in the Department of Mechanical Engineering with a 5-year BTech plus MTech course. So, I bagged my placement at MasterCard. I'm working as a product analyst, but my profile is kind of a mixture of product plus data. So, I will be focusing on both of the things. And to give you a brief about my background, I have a couple of internship in consulting and analytics profile. So, yeah.
Really nice. Thank you all for such a pleasant introduction. Let's now start our discussion.
Meenal, could you move to the next slide? With a lot of good opportunities out there, there's always some uncertainty among the aspirants in choosing companies. This being one of the most important and difficult decisions to be made at the time of placements. I would like to ask the panelists to give their ideas on how to prioritize the companies. Adarsh, would you like to begin?
Hello, Farm. So I was saying that for me particularly, before company comes the profile, where exactly do you want to go? I'll recommend candidates to focus on the profiles first. This is a particular thing, and then go to the company level. When setting up the placements, a person should at least, I believe, should have at least two options where he finds himself in a comfortable position. That if he gets placed in either of them, it's fine, because going for only one sector is because considering the placement is you may or may not get it, but having a backup is necessary. It depends on your interest level and your prior experience where exactly do you want to go, but go by profile and then go via company, and also try to make sure that the profile leaves that come in CDC do not explain much about the role the work you'll be doing in the company. For example, in American Express, it's a very generic profile that comes to the campus named as management trainee. And when you get into the company, you get to know that you are assigned a very different role. So yeah, this is something that you get in touch with our alums working in various companies to get to know what exactly will be the work if I go out here.
That's
That-
great.
That's it from my side.
Akshat, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. So that's a bang on answer by Adarsh. So I would like to say there is nothing like prioritizing a company. So you should prioritize based on your profile. You should have a mindset that, yeah, I wanted to target this profile. So for me, especially, I was preparing for the consult profile with a little bit background that I want to go to consult only, not that kind of like that, but I wanted to go consult and then prepare for product as well and an analyst profile as well. So I have my CVs prepared on those three fronts, that I wanted to go to consult, then product, then data analyst, and all the machine learning and kind of analyst profiles. So yeah, there are kind of many companies who don't specifically gives a good JD that how what all the work will you be doing. So there are kind of a vague JD. Then when you will be joining the company, you will get to know that what kind of work you will be doing. But never prioritize a company on the basis of what package and where the location is, but prioritize on the basis of what profile you wanted to go.
That was very insightful. Nachiketa, please share your insights.
Right. I believe most of the points regarding selection of a firm has been covered. I will just give a brief insight of what I did during my placement. So I had a mindset that I cannot code and I am not good at coding. So the one thing that I made sure is I'm not gonna attempt any coding tests for me. So that subtracting that from the universal set, only the non-tech profiles were remaining for me. So I basically prepared consult, finance, and product profiles. And yes, you always prioritize a profile over a firm, never a firm over a profile, because you don't know what the mechanics are being played inside the firm while you are getting shortlisted. So this is the tip I would highlight from this discussion here. That is, select your profile basis on your interest, not the stipend or CTC.
Nice.
So, getting to the next question. To get our basics right, I would kindly request the panelists to throw some light on the general selection process of the companies. Akshat, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. So the general selection process for all the companies is kind of similar. Like you get to apply those companies in the CDC portal by submitting your CVs, and they shortlist you, maybe on the basis of CV or some other criteria. Then you will get on to sit on for the tests, and then you will get a interview selection process. So this is the general selection process, but many companies differ from the general selection process. Like there are companies whose profiles start before the placements even. So there are ABI GMT profiles, and all the profiles related to the consult companies, they start before the general CDC process. But yeah, apart from that, this is general that yeah, your CV will get shortlisted, you will give a test, and then it's interview.
Okay. Adarsh, should you like to add some points to this?
Akshat has covered it pretty recently. It's a very generic process, and it all depends on the company's internal mechanism. Very broad process is applying on the CDC portal, giving out a test, and getting a shortlist and getting interviewed. So there's nothing much to it. Just ABI GMT is only one profile from our time that had like 8 rounds, like more than like 7 to 8 rounds. I don't exactly remember. Apart from it, this is the very generic process.
Okay. Nachiketa, do you have something else to add to this?
Right. So the process that Akshat and Adarsh covered, mostly that is the procedure for tech companies. For product companies specifically, there is a deck or a mini assignment submission that is to be done, and that happens as soon as the company information is rolled out to the students. That by with applying with your CV, you have to submit a deck for this given PS as well. So this is one criteria that the students can keep in mind for going for if they are attempting any product profiles.
Okay. So, thank you. And now moving on to the next question.
Now, moving on, uh, we'd all like to know the weightage that competitive programming holds in the analytics profile. Nachiketa, would you like to start?
Yeah. So as I mentioned during my introduction, that if you would ask me that, I did not prepare even Hello World for my placements. So I was completely out of the blue for coding and programming. So I don't have any insights here. Maybe Akshat and Adarsh can take it.
Oh, Akshat, would you like to add something to that?
Yeah, sure. So I would like to say there is no such weightage for CP in analytics profile. I have never done competitive programming in my life. But yeah, I would like to suggest to all the candidates who is sitting for placement that don't just skip the coding part, but just get familiar yourself with simple commands and at least up till the data structure and algorithm. Not completely, but like if you have time, like for myself only, that I am not so frequent at coding, but I did a couple of things like interview with questions and all the regular things that you did for a coding profile. But I never focused on a coding profile. My main focus was only on consultant, product, and analyst profiles. So CP holds no weightage, none at all. So you don't need to do competitive programming, and you cannot do competitive programming in the next 1 or 2 months. It's a very long and tedious process. So don't focus on CP. Just focus on the core concepts of what you can do in the coding field, like what are all the commands, how to use the sort algorithms, and what are all the popular algorithms that they can ask you in the interview.
That is interesting. Akshat, proceeding with our discussion, acing interviews is the most prominent step to getting selected for a placement. So I would like to ask our panelists to give a word of advice to excel in the interview and the last moment preparation tips involved in it. Nachiketa, would you like to begin?
Right. So, as we have discussed so far, that every profile is a unique profile, and every profile demands certain spikes that you should have while attempting for it. So, for basically for product and consult and analytics profile, there will be cases that you will be questioned on. That cases can be technical or non-technical depending on what you are attempting. In data, you will have technical cases, and product and consult, you will have non-technical cases. So, command over your cases. An interviewer never expects you to solve the case completely in the interview duration. What he is interested is how are you going to think about it if you are facing it in a real life situation. The process that you are going to follow, the questions that you are going to ask him, and the uh, inquisitiveness that you have during that case. That is what you will be judged upon. And this thing can never be taught to a candidate. It is naturally built. So just believe in yourself, and there is no as such last tips or acing pointers to be given. Be thorough with your CV. This is the tip that I will give, because you cannot fumble there. A single mistake will blow your candidature for that.
Okay. Akshat, please go next.
Yeah, so that's very correctly pointed out by Nachi that there is no last moment preparation kind of thing for acing the interviews. But yeah, so there are a couple of things that you should keep in mind apart from all your preparation and everything. For last moment tips, you must have to know what kind of profile that you are going to sit with, and you must have to talk with at least 1 or 2 of your seniors that who are already working on that profile. What kind of questions will be coming in the interview? How to prepare for that. Apart from that, just be calm, patience, and have a good sleep, eat good food, and just that's it.
Yeah, that was very relevant, Akshat. Let's move forward to Adarsh. Adarsh, please share your experience.
Yeah, so the two panelists covered this question pretty good. I'll just like to add one more point. Like sometimes it becomes good that you know a bit about the company itself, like with what is exactly is the company's business. Because sometimes in interview, like the very prominent question, why do you want to join this company? And if you are giving out relevant answers that are that strikes their values and yeah, their business side. So yeah, knowing a bit about company is good. That will definitely give you an upper edge over the other candidates who are not knowing it. That's
Thank
from
Yeah,
you.
my
definitely. That is one thing that you should always focus on to knowing about the company. I miss that. Yeah, you should at least read about the company and all the values and principles that they focus.
Thanks. We also received some questions through our registration form. So we'll take some of those questions now.
Sure.
Uh, Meenal, next slide, please. Yeah. So now coming to this, what is the weightage of machine learning and deep learning in an analytics profile, and how relevant is it? Nachiketa, what are your views?
Sure. So, analytics profile is a very wholesome term to cover this concept individually. Analytics profile consists of multiple domains, like me and Akshat are involved in product side, Adarsh is involved in the data analysis side, right? So, again, given that if you are attempting for a technical profile, this term is very relevant, and if you have any ML or DL courses that you have taken, or MTP, BTP, or projects that you have done, then that becomes very relevant to your interviewer, that he's gonna question you.
Okay.
I had completed my internship in Udan, and that was a data analytics internship. And I was not very confident with the concepts that were used during my internship. But given that I have worked upon it, I had to defend my statements, right? So in American Express, I had an interview for the same profile analytics, and I was not able to crack it because this is a technical type of analytics profile that you should know. That if you don't know your basics around that profile, you cannot ace it anyhow. So this depends as in what type of projects you are presenting forward to your interviewer, and accordingly he will decide whether your job would be relevant to the upcoming profile or not.
Okay. That's nice. Akshat, would you like to add something?
Yeah, sure. So, actually, like I told you, my profile is kind of product analyst with a mixture of little bit of data. So yeah, in my interview, there was a weightage of kind of MLDL. So I did an internship in a data machine learning profile at C8. So I would like to say that they don't much focus on what kind of knowledge do we have on how to implement those machine learning or deep learning algorithms, but they just wanted to know that if you have done an internship on that field, what you have done and how you have implemented it, and how best your concepts are. For example, they asked me what kind of algorithms you use. Did you use a supervised or a non-supervised learning algorithm? So these kind of things that they wanted to ask you, but there is no such kind of weightage if your profile, if your CV doesn't have any data or machine learning internship, and this is specifically for product analyst kind of profile, not for data analytics. So they wanted to ask you in the data analytics profile that how much knowledge do you have in the data. So just be confident and gather all the concepts, and don't much focus on how do you implement those algorithms, that they are not going to ask you in the interview that write the code or tell me the code that you write in your internships, but they just wanted to ask that which algorithm did you use, how did you use it, what kind of result that you were expecting, and how much kind of accuracy that you got, and how to improve those accuracy. So in these kind of fields that they will ask you questions.
I like to add one particular thing to Nachiketa's answer. Like for the folks that are completely non-tech and targeting American Express, uh, the only technical thing that ask you is name of few models and nothing more. So don't get disheartened and completely rule out this thing, because considering my interview experience in American Express, it the only technical thing they asked me was KNN, and that too in a case. So just inside that, non-tech fellows don't get disheartened. You can still make it to American Express.
Great. Going further to the other questions. Yeah. Maybe could you go to the next slide? Uh, yeah. So another question is how important DSA is for the data analyst and data science profiles, and yeah, would others like to begin on that?
Sorry, can you please pardon the question?
Would Akshat like to begin on that?
Can you please repeat that
Please,
question? How much DSA should we
Uh,
know for data analyst, data
yeah.
science profile? Others should take that question. Yeah, I don't have much idea on that.
DSA, I'll say nothing. No, malab, see,
Yeah.
analyst profile, as Nachiketa was saying, is a very broad term used across the companies. There will be analysts in your designation, the company as well. When you talk about analyst, post after analyst, there is a team that will be working on. So yeah, in some analyst profile, you may require DSA. In some, you may extremely do not require DSA. So it's a very broad term. Don't confuse analyst as someone who's just doing the data stuff and other stuff. Even a strategy team member is called an analyst, and data science team member is called an analyst.
Akshat.
Yeah, specifically, like you have written data analyst slash data science profile. So these are very different kind of things. So specifically in the data science and data engineering profiles, you will need a core knowledge of DSA and what algorithms and all the things. But in the data analyst profile, they wanted to know how much comfortable you are with numbers, how much comfortable you are with playing around with the data. And with the data analyst also comes with a mixture of product in some companies, so they just wanted to know how much product knowledge that you have, how much good you are in implementing those data to get those pain points for customers, these kind of things. So DSA is particularly much focused on data science and data engineering profiles rather than for analyst profiles.
Yes. Going further, Neil. Going further, another common question is if aptitude and guesstimates play an important role in the data analytics profile. Uh, Adarsh, would you like to start?
Yeah, so I'll just say yes, definitely aptitude and guesstimate plays a very big role. Aptitude it includes quant as well as puzzles, probability questions, puzzles questions, and the quant questions. So yeah, if these are two very important things for the profile. Just a very simple answer. You need to study them. That's it from my side.
Nachiketa, please give us your insight.
Yeah, definitely. As I mentioned, that especially for non-tech analysts profile, you would be grilled upon cases, and your cases can contain guesstimates. And puzzles and aptitudes are mainly involved in the pre-selection tests. So definitely, you are gonna face them during this role. So that's a must. You should have that in your backpack.
Interesting. Akshat, would you like to add something?
Yeah, definitely. Aptitude and guesstimates are a must for analyst profiles. So aptitude covers quant and probability questions and the puzzles as well. So there are a couple of books, very familiar books that you have must have read or doing it. 50 Challenging Problems and Hard on the Street. These two books are must for any candidate who is preparing for analyst profile. And just brush up on your aptitude skills daily. Do some aptitude questions, do some puzzles. Hard on the Street is a very good book. You should have done all those chapters that covers those aptitude and puzzles questions. And guesstimates is one thing that you should practice with your friends, like kind of not even with your friends. If you wanted to do with yourself only, that you can do it, but it will be much better if you do it with your friends. So let one of your friend be the interviewer and you be the interviewee, and just practice those guesstimate that think about it, how much petrol pumps can in a Mumbai is there, these kind of things, and just go on it. And in the guesstimates as well, there is not much important that you come up to a right answer. You can come up to a ballpark of an answer, but the approach and the way that you have solved it, the way you have laid down the problem in front of the interviewer is more important. Yeah, so this is a must. Aptitude and guesstimate is a must.
Thank you, Akshat.
Yeah, so moving on to the next question. How does having done a project or an internship affect a candidate's placement for an analytics profile? Nachiketa, would you like to start?
Sure. So I'll take you through the selection procedure to understand this question better. What happens that you know that our campus is the largest among all IITs, and applications typically for an analyst profile is in multiples of close to 900,000, 1100. So a company won't be willing to view all 1100 CVs, right? They apply some basic filters at their end to get some handful of candidates. And then again, they can filter that, and there are two, three levels of filter. So one of these filters being your corporate experience, that is your internships or projects that you have dealt with. So let's say that I have a candidate A who has a analyst intern, and I have a candidate B who does not have. So definitely I'm gonna like to interview the one who has some prior experience, because if I'm going to recruit him, I'll need less training on him than the candidate B. But that also depends from firm to firm. Like suppose that if a candidate has an exposure in product analysis and the second one does not have, and I'm expecting a data role from either of them, then candidate B would be relevant for me, because I will have to erase product analysis for candidate A and then again train him for data. But I can start from scratch immediately on candidate B.
Okay. Others, should you like to add some points for? No?
Yeah, sure. So basically, your internships, your past experience actually plays. Matlab, in my case, it didn't play any role. Considering American Express, my all the internships have been product, like 3 to 4 internships in product, and here I have the analyst. So depending on the company, because American Express had something similar to product for me, so yeah, they'll take it. If the company is very specific about they want a guy that should know this particular thing, so internship would make sense. If they are if they are having multiple openings in their organization and they have to divide the hires into multiple pillars, so yeah, your internships might not even be considered. So that's
Akshat, please share your views on this with us.
Yeah, so definitely internships and projects for analytics profile is a plus, but not necessarily it is required in every company. So yeah, if you're preparing for data analytics profile, so it is a kind of good thing if you have an internship in data analyst profile, not even in an internship, but a project that it could be a self-done project, or it could be a project in any under of your professors or any under any institute. So yeah, internship and project plays a good role, but it is not a must. Like it depends on company to company. Like for Amex, as others said, it does not definitely impact much. For my profile in Mastercard, so they were looking for a data internship, but it was not kind of a must. So they just wanted to know how much your knowledge is, specifically in the analyst profile, in the SQL sector, in the puzzle sector. So I just remember that in my interview they asked me SQL questions and puzzle questions, and then they move on to my CV, that what kind of internship that you have done and how can you defend those internship. Like they just wanted to check that you have done those internship. Did you know what you have done in that internship, and can you just show what kind of results do you achieve. So before that, obviously comes your knowledge, SQL, analytics questions, and puzzles, and probability questions. These kind of questions they will ask. Yeah.
So thank you everyone for this. Now let's move to the questions from audience. So audience, if anyone has any question for the panelists, please put it in the chat box.
I guess I can see one question in the chat box regarding is there any GD round for analytics? So that I will answer that for you. That this is a very firm selective question. I guess only Abinbev principal analyst is the profile that conducts a GD, except that there is no GD in any other analyst profile.
So yeah, thank you for this. And I would like to request Ayush to carry this discussion forward.
अक्षत ये वाला लेगा क्या कोडिंग टेस्ट वाला?
यार मेरे को दिख नहीं रहा है क्वेश्चंस.
मैं पढ़
तो
देता हूँ. Will there be
हाँ.
coding tests for analyst profiles? If it is there, what will be the difficulty level of test?
Um, यार नेसेसरली सब प्रोफाइल्स में नहीं होते हैं कोडिंग टेस्ट, बट हाँ किसी किसी प्रोफाइल्स में होते हैं कोडिंग टेस्ट, एंड दैट दैट कैन इवन गो टू हायर काइंड ऑफ डिफिकल्टीज. बट डोंट जस्ट फोकस ऑन दिस राइट नाउ कि हाँ हमको कोडिंग ज्यादा करनी पड़ेगी या ऐसा कुछ. एनालिस्ट प्रोफाइल के लिए यू डोंट नीड कोडिंग. इफ यू वांटेड टू डू कोडिंग, अगर तुम अच्छे हो कोडिंग में, अगर तुमको लगता है कि यू कैन डू ग्रेट थिंग्स इन कोडिंग, तो करो, यू कैन डू इट. बट अगर तुमको अभी कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है तो डोंट नेसेसरली गो. अभी जंप करने का कोई फायदा नहीं है कोडिंग में. यू कैन स्टिल grasp your knowledge in analyst profile, case studies, product. These kind of things require lesser time, a lesser amount of time with respect to coding. So अभी jump करने का कोई फायदा नहीं है coding में. I guess your test वगैरह start हो चुके होंगे ना इनके?
नहीं नहीं, वो अभी टाइम है, अभी
सॉफ्टवेयर
CV
में
एडिट।
तो
अच्छा CV एडिटिंग चल रहा है, राइट?
हाँ
तो
ठीक
टेक
है।
इट इजी गाइस, मैं तो बस इतना ही बोलूंगा कि टेक इट इजी। जितना जो भी हुआ है पास में उस पर फोकस मत करो। इंटर्नशिप्स नहीं है तो फोकस मत करो, अभी करंट पे फोकस करो कि तुम क्या कर सकते हो। एप्टी स्ट्रॉन्ग करो, पजल स्ट्रॉन्ग करो, प्रॉप स्ट्रॉन्ग करो, दैट विल टेक योर बेटर पार्ट ऑफ द मंथ आई वुड से। पजल्स, एप्टी, इन सब के लिए बुक्स लगाओ, हर्ड ऑन द स्ट्रीट करो, प्रोबेबिलिटी 50 चैलेंजिंग प्रोबेबिलिटी की हर एक दिन एक एक प्रोबेबिलिटी का क्वेश्चन करोगे तब जाके यू विल रियलाइज कि हाँ वी आर गेटिंग अ लिटिल बिट ग्रास्प ऑफ इट। बट डोंट फोकस ऑन कोडिंग पार्ट, इतना मत देखो। मतलब मेरे को नची को तो आता ही नहीं था कोडिंग।
इफ यू डू नॉट नो द इफ यू डू नॉट नो एट ऑल, कोई पॉइंट नहीं है, सब टाइम वेस्ट होगा उसको करके। And बस बेसिक्स पे फोकस करो और कीप योर हेड काम, दैट्स इट।
So there is
एंड
also one question that where should they prepare for the coding tests?
इंटरव्यू बिट का थोड़ा बहुत देख लो, दैट्स इट। मतलब यार ABI ही मुझे याद आ रहा है ओनली द ओनली कंपनी जिसने कोडिंग पूछी थी और एनालिस्ट प्रोफाइल के साथ। उसके अलावा तो शायद किसी ने शायद पूछी भी नहीं थी कोडिंग।
और
इंटरव्यू
एबीआई भी बहुत इजी क्वेश्चन सी टाइप के
बहुत सी
पूछे थे
क्वेश्चन।
कि दैट यू कैन डू इट अगर तुमको थोड़ी बहुत नॉलेज हो तो पीए प्रोफाइल में। बट हाँ कपल ऑफ कंपनीज ही पूछती है कोडिंग के क्वेश्चंस। एंड प्लेटफॉर्म की बात करो तो इंटरव्यू बिट इज द बेस्ट, उस पे
इंटरव्यू
करो। एक एक हर एक एक बकेट का क्वेश्चन करो, उसमें डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ बकेट्स होते हैं। एक बकेट का एरे का कर लो, सॉर्टिंग का कर लो, ऐसे कर करके धीरे धीरे हर एक बकेट के क्वेश्चंस कर लो और इजी क्वेश्चंस ही आते हैं एनालिस्ट प्रोफाइल में।
ज़्यादा नहीं आता कुछ।
हम्म।
ठीक है,
Also, we
एक
have
और।
one more. Yeah,
हाँ हाँ मृणालिनी, कंटिन्यू कंटिन्यू।
we have one more good question. That did your experience in the product role had any advantage or disadvantage for you during the interview?
नो, इट वाज रादर एन एडवांटेज। मतलब
हम्म।
प्रोडक्ट इज ठीक है, प्रोडक्ट में बहुत सारे कंपोनेंट्स आ जाते हैं दैट समहाउ रिलेट टू एवरी प्रोफाइल, बी इट RCA और मतलब मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट ऑफ देम बिकम्स कि डीपिंग डीप डाउन करना है केसेस के अंदर। या प्रोडक्ट एक्सपीरियंस नेवर एक्टेड एज अ हिंड्रेंस, रादर इट वाज बेनिफिशियल।
इट विल ऑलवेज बी एडवांटेज प्रोडक्ट एक्सपीरियंस। बट हाँ यार डेटा साइंस और डेटा इंजीनियरिंग प्रोफाइल्स काफी डिफरेंट होती हैं एनालिस्ट प्रोफाइल से। तो उसमें दे लुक फॉर अ कोर नॉलेज इन योर डेटा फील्ड्स, बट डेटा एनालिस्ट, प्रोडक्ट एनालिस्ट और ऑल द काइंड ऑफ मैनेजमेंट प्रोफाइल्स लाइक आदर्श प्रोफाइल इज मैनेजमेंट ट्रेनी। सो ऑल दीज प्रोफाइल यू नो focus not focus on these data aspects, but rather तुम्हारा क्या केस नॉलेज है, तुम कैसे क्या सोचते हो, कैसे ड्रिल
ब्रेक
डाउन
डाउन
करते हो
करना
चीजों
प्रॉब्लम।
को। या राइट। Any other questions?
Audience, do you have any more questions? Please put them in the chat box.
ये क्वेश्चन है, what type of questions will be asked in the aptitude tests? So aptitude tests would be basically covering your mental ability, verbal reasoning, logical reasoning, बस इससे ज़्यादा नहीं आता है। Your JE maths would be sufficient to get you through aptitude tests, उससे ज़्यादा you don't have to work on.
एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट की प्रिपरेशन इज लिटरली वेरी इजी। तुम देयर आर वेरी वेरियस साइट्स जो तुमको मॉक टेस्ट वगैरह लेने के लिए देती है। तो हर दिन 1 घंटा बैठ के एक एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट लगा लो, दैट्स मोर देन एनफ। बस तुम्हारा हाउ कमांड यू हैव ऑन नंबर्स, इसी पे बेसिस होता है सब कुछ।
Is there any other question?
Questions, then please raise your hands. We will unmute you after that.
Hello. From where to do we can practice the data questions means SQL and Python type of questions or aptitude questions means any website can you give?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So basically SQL के लिए W3 schools is the only source. वहाँ पे study from it सब कुछ clear हो जाएगा. और
अच्छा
for
W3 school. Okay.
W3 school और
Okay.
then for if you want to have a very broad understanding of machine learning regarding algorithms कि बस चल you want to know कि चलते कैसे हैं depth में नहीं जाना तो nonco.com पे from there you can study the ML part. और
Okay.
कॉन्ट के लिए प्रोबेबिलिटी वगैरह के लिए देयर इज अ मोबाइल ऐप कॉल्ड प्रेपली उसमें दे अलाउ यू टू टेक मल्टीपल मॉक टेस्ट तो बस मॉक देते रहो यू विल लर्न इट नची अक्षत
Okay.
एनीथिंग एल्स दैट यू वांट टू ऐड
राइट ऑल दीज थिंग्स गाइस, आदर्श बहुत अच्छी चीजें बताता है, लिख लो.
I did my preparation for quant from Arun Sharma, cat wali book. Sufficient.
Okay.
गोयल भाई फंडा गॉड है भाई गोयल.
हम लेते थे यार इससे फंडे प्लेसमेंट के रहते.
नची बोल रहा है भाई
Actually, my question is related to that case study. What kind of case study? Like, what is the way of they are giving the a case and then we have to give like answers to the question, or is there any different process for this?
तो इफ यू नो कि केस स्टडी मतलब मल्टीपल टाइप्स की होती है, बट मेनली फोकसिंग ऑन प्लेसमेंट्स. अपने प्लेसमेंट में दो टाइप की केस स्टडी पूछी जाती है, या तो प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी पूछी जाती है या फिर मार्केट एंट्री केसेस पूछे जाते हैं, स्पेसिफिकली फॉर कंसल्ट काइंड ऑफ प्रोफाइल और एनालिस्ट काइंड ऑफ प्रोफाइल. इसमें फिर प्रोडक्ट के मिक्सचर भी आ जाते हैं, रूट कॉज एनालिसिस एंड ऑल. सो बेसिकली स्ट्रक्चर हर बार ऐसा ही होता है कि दे वांटेड टू नो कुछ प्रॉब्लम आ रही है किसी बिजनेस में, लाइक दे विल से कि दिस इज एबीसी कंपनी, देयर प्रॉफिट्स आर गोइंग डाउन बाय 20%, फाइंड अ रूट कॉज ऑफ इट, या ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है, व्हाट विल बी यू विल गिव द रेमेडीज. सो देर आर कपल ऑफ बुक्स जैसे डे वन आई गेस आईआईटी बॉम्बे केस बुक और आईआईटी मद्रास केस बुक इज देयर. उनको गो थ्रू कर सकते हो ऊपर ऊपर से कि कैसा एक केस सॉल्व किया जा सकता है, बट द मेन प्रिपरेशन विल कम फ्रॉम डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ बुक. अपने दोस्तों के साथ बैठो, उनके साथ केसेस करो. वन कैन बी द इंटरव्यूअर, अदर कैन बी इंटरव्यूई. मैं अभी भी याद करता हूँ कि आदर्श और मैंने कितने केस किए होंगे बैठ के. ऐसे ही अपना एक कोई भी एक दोस्त पकड़ो, वो तुमको केस कराएगा, तुम करो साथ में, और तुम उसको कराओ हर दिन एक एक केस पकड़ो, दैट इज मोर देन इनफ.
So there is any particular source about this, like website or something?
यार देख कंसल्ट का तो अक्षत नची बताएंगे मैंने कभी कंसल्ट प्रेप नहीं किया प्रोडक्ट के लिए स्टेलर पियर्स नाम की एक वेबसाइट है जहाँ पे प्रोडक्ट के केसेस अवेलेबल है देन देयर इज exponent.com वहाँ पे प्रोडक्ट केसेस अवेलेबल हैं ठीक है और बाकी प्रोडक्ट के लिए प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर पीएम इंटरव्यूज है वो करनी है देखो डी कोड एंड कॉन्कर इज कॉल्ड लाइक अ बाइबल ऑफ प्रोडक्ट केसेस बट वो इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में इतनी रेलेवेंट नहीं होती बिकॉज उसके वो थोड़ी सी अलग डायरेक्शन में जाता है उसको पढ़ लो समझने के लिए आइडिया लेने के लिए कि कैसे कैसे चीज़ें बोलनी है बट इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में तुम्हें टेक में इतना नहीं घुसना है और इतना लोडेड नहीं होता ठीक है यूट्यूब पे है भाई वीडियोस है बहुत सारी प्रोडक्ट केसेस की तो लोडेड नहीं है कंसल्ट के लिए नची अक्षर एवरीथिंग वो बता देंगे
या फॉर कंसल्ट केसेस मतलब तुम्हारे पास देयर मस्ट बी अ लिंक दैट इज गोइंग अराउंड जो कंसल्टिंग केस प्रेप का मटेरियल है. सो अगर वो नहीं है तो आई विल शेयर दैट, बट उसमें कई सारे विक्टर चैंग के वीडियोस है. वो दे आर कपल ऑफ बेसिक थिंग्स जो विक्टर चैंग कवर करता है कि कैसे केस को हम फोकस करते हैं, कैसे प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट को डिवाइड करते हैं, फिर किस किस पार्ट में प्रायोरिटाइज करके हमको डीप डाउन करना चाहिए, दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट डे वन जो बुक है आईआईटी बॉम्बे और आईआईटी मद्रास की केस बुक्स जो हैं वो दैट इज मोर देन सफिशिएंट. उनके केसेस तुम लोग करने भी अभी लग जाओगे, स्टार्ट भी करोगे तो इट विल टेक यू अ गुड 1 month और 2 months टू कवर दोज केसेस. सो दिसंबर के पहले वो केसेस कर लो, दैट इज मोर देन इनफ. मैंने भी वही किए थे ओनली, उन केसेस को गो थ्रू किया था विद ऑल माई फ्रेंड्स. सबको किसी को कराओ, किसी से करवाओ, दीज आर द प्रोसेस. अच्छी, यू वांट टू ऐड?
हाँ मतलब केसेस का तो लमसम इतना ही है मटेरियल. एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस इसमें कम्युनिके का भी एक कंपेंडियम है आई गेस, दिव्यम ने शेयर किया था मेरे साथ. दैट हेल्प मी अ लॉट टू बिगिन विद एंड टू अंडरस्टैंड एग्जैक्टली व्हाट अ केस इज. तो एक सैम्पल केस बताता हूँ मैं कि जो मुझे पूछा था कि सपोज यू आर अ प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर एट यूट्यूब and you have a user landing on your page So how will you recommend him some new videos? So this case can go in technical as well as non-technical direction depending on how you are going to answer that. If you use data analysis, तो फिर he will take you in tech. अगर you use product mindset की clicks वगैरह track करूँगा, past history देखूँगा, तो that will go in product direction. So this is a product case. ऐसा दिखता है वो कैसा होता है if you wanted to.
So there is always a specific format for cases कि कैसे solve करना चाहिए cases. एक प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट को पहले तुम डिफाइन करते हो कि हाँ दिस इज द पार्ट ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम दैट आई एम गोइंग टू वर्क विद, फिर उसको ब्रेक डाउन करते हो कपल ऑफ थिंग्स में, और मतलब देयर आर मल्टीपल थिंग्स केसेस में वो ब्रेक डाउन का एक फॉर्मेट होता है मीसी, म्यूचुअली एक्सक्लूसिव, क्यूमुलेटिवली एग्जॉस्टिव. सो उस टाइप से ब्रेक डाउन करते हैं. बट केसेस तुम साथ में करते रहोगे तो सीख जाओगे ये सब चीजें बहुत इजीली. बट हर दिन एक केस करने की आदत डाल लो. केस एंड एस्टिमेट इज मस्ट.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sachin. Now, Kailash, you can go next.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're audible.
Sir, how much this communication in English matters during interview?
यार नॉन टैक में इट मैटर्स तुम कैसे कम्युनिकेट करते हो, बिकॉज तुम्हारा मेजोरिटी काम ही वो होता है. बहुत सारे स्टेक होल्डर्स के साथ बात करके फिर इन्फॉर्मेशन निकालना और फिर उसको प्रोसेस करवाना है, फिर डिसीजंस लेना. टेक में इट वोंट मैटर मच, और आई से एट ऑल. नॉन टेक में इट मैटर्स बिकॉज योर वर्क इज दैट थिंग.
कम्युनिकेशन मैटर्स. स्पेसिफिकली अगर वो स्टार्टिंग में तुमसे इंटरव्यू में घुसते ही तुमसे थोड़ी बहुत बातचीत करके केस कराने लग जाता है, तो द केस इज ऑल अबाउट कम्युनिकेटिंग कि तुम कैसे कम्युनिकेट करो. उसको फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता कि तुम आंसर पे आओगे कि नहीं आओगे, बस किस टाइप से कम्युनिकेशन पे जाके तुम कर रहे हो. तो कम्युनिकेशन मैटर्स, उस पे फोकस करो. वो भी तुम कम्युनिकेशन भी इसी तरीके से सीखोगे व्हेन यू आर डूइंग केसेस विद योर फ्रेंड्स. अगर एक इंटरव्यू है, एकदम इंटरव्यू की तरह उस केसेस को डील करो. वो तुमसे क्वेश्चंस पूछेगा और लेट हिम गो थ्रू द इंटरव्यू. मतलब एकदम इंटरव्यू प्रेप करो उस चीज में. तो दैट्स हाउ यू विल इंप्रूव योर कम्युनिकेशन.
Thank you, sir.
सर मत बोले यार.
भाई अभी तो ग्रेजुएट हुए.
हाँ यार.
Thank you, Kailash. Arvind, you can go next.
Yeah, hi everyone. So if someone is like trying to transition from the technical side to trying to apply for product or consult, like how should he go on about it? Here, like I have a bit of knowledge on coding and for example, the coding interviews, but I am not so familiar on the cases and the guesstimates part of it. So how should I transition and prepare for that?
Yeah,
आई वाज जस्ट सेइंग कि डोंट ट्रांजिशन कंप्लीटली. मतलब अपना कोडिंग और स्किल्स अगर अच्छा है तो उस पर भी फोकस रखना. बट इफ यू वांटेड टू स्टार्ट कि हाँ मेरे पास एक और प्रोफाइल हो जस्ट टू हैव एन बैकअप ऑप्शन काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स, तो स्टार्ट विद बेसिक प्रेप्स. विक्टर चैंग के वीडियोस देखो सबसे पहले. देयर इज ओनली 10-12 वीडियोस ऑन यूट्यूब. ही विल गेट यू एन ओवरव्यू ऑफ व्हाट केसेस आर, हाउ टू फोकस ऑन द केसेस, व्हाट टाइप ऑफ केसेस आर, एंड देन मूव ऑन टू दिस फ्रेंड्स काइंड ऑफ थिंग कि एक फ्रेंड के साथ एक केस किया. देयर मस्ट बी अ ग्रुप ऑफ फ्रेंड्स जो ऑलरेडी केस कर रहे होंगे. उनके रैंडम मीटिंग्स में जाके बैठ जाओ और देखो कि वो कैसे केस कर रहे हैं. यू विल गेट टू नो. वीडियोस देखो यूट्यूब पे. देयर आर कपल ऑफ वीडियोस जो बहुत अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन करते हैं कि केसेस कैसे होते हैं. आदर्श.
Yeah, or there's nothing called transition when you're in campus because you have not done anything. Take a note of it. Even if you have no prior experience in software, yet you can get placed in a software company. अगर कंसल्ट का प्रायर एक्सपीरियंस है तो भी तुम कंसल्ट में जा सकते हो. जस्ट स्टार्ट फ्रॉम, जैसे अक्षर बता रहा था, कंसल्ट के लिए विक्टर चांग देख लिया, फिर कोई बुक्स पढ़ लिया. जस्ट स्टार्ट और इंटरव्यू में जाके तुम्हें मचाना है और कुछ नहीं करना. इवन प्रोडक्ट में तो यार तुम्हारा सीवी भी नहीं देखते हैं, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट. प्रोडक्ट के सारे शॉर्टलिस्ट सिर्फ टेक के बेसिस पे होता है.
तो कोर प्रोडक्ट कंपनीज का तो प्रोसेस ही अलग होता है यार. बिल्कुल ही. डेक्स पहले आती है. मतलब एपीएम रोल्स की अगर हम बात करते हैं, तुम डेक्स सबमिट करते हो. उसके बाद फिर स्पेसिफिक राउंड्स में प्रोडक्ट केसेस होते हैं. डिजाइनिंग अ प्रोडक्ट एंड रूट कॉज एनालिसिस, ये सब केसेस होते हैं प्रोडक्ट में.
जस्ट अ पीस ऑफ एडवाइस, अगर तुम प्रोडक्ट और कंसल्ट दोनों टारगेट कर रहे हो तो दोनों के केसेस को प्लीज मिक्स मत करना। वो दो अलग केसेस होते हैं। मतलब समटाइम्स आई हर्ड स्टूडेंट सेइंग कि अगर कंसल्ट कर रहे हो तो प्रोडक्ट प्रोडक्ट हो ही जाएगा एंड वाइस वर्सा, एंड इट इज नॉट ट्रू, क्योंकि दोनों के केसेस की थिंकिंग सब कुछ अलग है। डोंट कंफ्यूज दिस थिंग।
Also, considering that we have got lots of questions regarding the preparation materials, so Communique has also published a couple of books, the Playing It Soft and the Communique Guesstimates, the Guessing Games. You can also refer these books for preparing for your interviews. I think the
So there
questions
is,
from, yeah.
yeah, so there is also one thing, जो तुमने क्वेश्चन पूछा था ना कि हाउ टू प्रायोरिटाइज अ कंपनी, मतलब कैसा प्लेसमेंट प्रोसेस होता है हर एक कंपनी का। सो आई गेस देयर इज अ बुक ऑफ स्कॉल्स हैव, और आई डोंट नो ऑफ कम्युनिके, बट है एक बुक जिसमें मतलब देयर इज अ ऑल द प्रोसेस कि हर एक कंपनी का क्या प्रोसेस होता है, राउंड वन राउंड टू समथिंग लाइक
एंड
दैट, सब कुछ लिखा होता है उसमें।
और ऑल्सो ड्यूरिंग आवर टाइम यार, नची याद है एक लिंक, यू गूगल डॉक लिंक गॉट सर्कुलेटेड इन आवर बैच
Mm-hmm.
which had like all IITs में जैसे ही कंपनी गई है तो वहाँ पर बहुत क्वेश्चंस दे आस्ट, वो सब कुछ उसमें अपडेट होता था, डायनामिकली अपडेट होता रहता था कि कौन सी कंपनी किस आईआईटी में कब जा रहा है, वहाँ क्या पूछा है। तो वो रेफर कर सकते हो, यू कैन रेफर दीस।
हाँ, वो मेरे पास शायद
हाँ।
2020 का है, अपने टाइम का है,
इनका 2022 का तो अलग ही बनेगा पूरा, तो
अलग ही
ट्राई फॉर
बनेगा।
इज दैट लिंक।
एक होता है वो लिंक, राइट राइट राइट।
So thank you. Audience, do you have something else to ask? I think no. So let's move forward to our next questions.
Let's move forward. Uh, Thank you, everyone, for the meaningful and enlightening discussion. Panelists, are there some final words of advice you all would like to give to the placement janta at IIT Kharagpur?
गोयल भाई स्टार्ट कर पहले।
यार my final word of advice will be कि you'll be giving out tests in offline mode. So I personally will recommend कि be a bit selective in which test you are giving. अगर तुम नॉन टेक वाले बंदे हो तो गूगल उबर का टेस्ट देके टाइम वेस्ट करने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है। वहाँ से यू कैन सेव सम टाइम फ्रॉम देयर एंड यूज इट टू प्रिपेयर फॉर योर कोर प्रोफाइल। So use your time wisely, and your friends are your biggest assets and resources. मतलब placement के टाइम पे वो there's our individual does not get placed, it's a wing or a group gets placed. So ठीक है, use that thing to your to their place. That's it. अक्षत नची।
बहुत ही अच्छी चीज बोली है भाई उसने, नोटिस कर लो इसको। इट्स नॉट an individual who will get placed, it's a wing or all a group of friends who get placed. बाकी तो चिल करो यार, इतना लोड मत लो, टेस्ट वेस्ट देते रहो, फोकस करो, केस प्रेप करो, जो तुम फोकस कर रहे हो उस पे फोकस रखो, एंड जस्ट बी ऑन दैट, एक्सेल करोगे आराम से। और आईआईटी खड़गपुर और प्लेसकॉम्स इतने कैपेबल है अपने की एवरीवन विल गेट प्लेस्ड, उसकी टेंशन मत लो।
That was great. But definitely keep all these in mind in series placements.
या
So it was a very enriching session. We would like to express our gratitude to all the panelists for giving us their precious time to make this session possible and for sharing their valuable insights with us as well. A heartfelt thanks to the audience too for being so pleasant and active throughout the seminar. I hope the discussion was beneficial for all of you. And also join us tomorrow for our FMCG profile as we would continue the placement bootcamp sessions. And this brings us to the end of today's event. Thank you, everyone, and have a pleasing evening.